Hi, everyone. Exciting afternoon, having some tech issues. Hi, I'm Jeannie Petrucci, registered dietitian, nutritionist, culinary coach, and founder of Living Plate RX. And this is our first Q&A call for 2024. And what a way to kick it off. I went to my office, which is just a few miles from my home, and we have no internet. So I raced back here and made it just in time. So thank you for all of you joining me today. Really excited to be here with you. Our Q&A office hour and strategy calls we hold twice per month. So this is our first one for the year because January we were doing a live launch. So we didn't host them then, but from now moving forward, I will be with you every other week, internet or not. We'll just figure out a way to get it done. So I usually broadcast from my office, from my teaching kitchen, but I'm broadcasting from my home office today. So yeah, very excited to be here with you today. Muriel, welcome. Hi, good to see you here today. See a bunch of people joining us now. So first call for 2024, thinking about, how we're going to start the conversation. And I think what we'll focus on today, what I know we'll focus on today, because I let you know, is this idea of creating content that helps drive practice growth and how you can plan that out for 2024. In January, I hosted a webinar it was a workshop actually, called Elevate Your Practice. And I supported you with planning out a year's worth of content. We're going to be talking about a lot of those kind of high level concepts today at the beginning of our strategy call. At the beginning of all of our Q&A office hours, we start with just kind of some type of a basic strategy topic. And that's what we'll be doing today. And it really is just high level of what we covered in that workshop. So on the call with me today in the Facebook group is my director of operations, Jennifer Ramirez. And so Jen, I'm just going to ask you to drop the link to register for a version of that recording. So that recording has expired for January, but I have since published a version of that recording, which I think will be really helpful to you. Along with that link will be a workbook that you can use to kind of apply a lot of what we're going to be talking about today. Oh, hi, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. Feel free to ask questions. So if you are in the private Facebook group with us now, you can drop comments and I will be able to see them. So I will be able to answer your questions kind of as we go along. The first few minutes, again, we're going to be talking a little bit about strategy, and then we're going to be diving into frequently asked questions that have been kind of coming in a lot from new members and some from existing members. And we're just here to support you however we can. I just want to note also that while I host this type of forum twice per month, we also have coaching calls in Zoom rooms with Karen Reiser, who is part of the Living Plate RX team. And also she uses all of our products. So she can also support you as well. So just know that there's a lot of support here. If I don't get to answer your question exactly the way that you need me to today, you will continue to have more support. Oh, Julie, welcome. Thank you so much. We have a new Living Plate RX member from Atlanta. Terrific. Oh, Hillary, thank you so much. So Hillary, if you could drop instead of the workbook link, if you could please drop the registration page. And I think that Jen actually has that, because the workbook link isn't going to make a whole lot of sense without also the webinar. So we need to make sure people can register for that. Thank you so much, Hillary. Hillary is also here supporting us today. Terrific. Somebody's saying definitely need support. Well, I'm here for you. So let's just start again with this kind of high-level strategy conversation about practice growth content for 2024. And I'm going to start with a little bit of what I call content therapy. So I'm going to share my screen here with you. All right, everybody can see our friend Veruca Saltz here from Willy Wonka. So as a nutrition professional or a healthcare professional, right? We've all had clients who, come to our office with like a real sense of urgency. Like, I want change now. I want to lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks. I want to, control, or I need to control my blood sugars within a week, or, just this real sense of urgency to get a result. And I understand that. Like, anybody can understand that kind of urgency. And I want you to think about, what would you do as a practitioner in this circumstance? You're not going to look at that patient or that client and say, sure, here you go. Here's a plan. This is what you do. Good luck with that, right? Good luck with meeting that goal in 2 weeks. Like, you wouldn't do that. The first thing that you would do is do an assessment, right? A deep assessment of the patient and where they're at. And, why is this the goal that you have set for yourself in the first place? And how can I help you either realign, reset, or achieve that goal if it's something that I think I can help you with? All right. So you do an assessment first. And only then do you diagnose the problem, right? And decide what you're going to do. And then you build an intervention. So I'm referring, for my dietitians who are on with me today, to ADIME, right? So this is a process, an evidence-based process of delivering medical nutrition therapy. So you assess, you diagnose, and then you build the intervention, which includes all of the content, right, that you're going to be creating to support that patient. I want you to think of your content creation process the same way, because I, as the founder of Living Plate RX and my team, we see a lot of members, especially new members at this time of year, coming right up front and saying, I need to do this now. I need to create a course to sell. How much can I sell my course for? Or I need to, to create a meal plan so that I can sell meal plans so that I can generate passive income. Like, we understand that sense of urgency, but what I'm asking you to consider today, just as you would be for that patient, right, in your counseling office or on your counseling Zoom room, to just take a step back and assess the situation first. Because for some people, and for most actually, jumping right into content creation because you have the sense of urgency is not going to totally be productive, right? You're going to get frustrated very, very quickly. And at worst, you'll spend a lot of time creating the content that you think and know that you need to create, just in the end to not have it perform the way that you want it to, right? So a great example would be, you build out all of these meal plans and then you post them for sale and nobody buys them, right? And then you're back to the assessment phase of, well, why is that? Why did that happen? So what I'm asking you to do is to do the assessment first, to really think about where you're at and we're going to talk about kind of the stages that you can go through here, where you're at in your business and really what your strategy is, right? So for the patient, it's the intervention, right? What the intervention is, the strategy, right? What kinds of things can we do for that patient to help them meet their goals? In business, it's about strategy, right? It's about the strategies that drive the goals. And it'll make a little bit more sense kind of as we dive into our slides here today. So let me just see here. And again, if you have any questions as we move along, hey, Julie, good to see you here. As you move along, please feel free to ask questions. Okay. So let's just start with the basics. For those of you who have joined me before for any of my workshops, like I am not a business coach, but I think it's important. And you can't see this. So I'm going to go full screen here right now. It's really important to understand the basics of practice growth. Like when we're talking about practice growth content that grows your practice, this is what I'm talking about. I just want to hide this banner so that you can see the whole thing. There are 3 things that you must do in your practice, in your business, in order to be successful, in order to have a sustainable business versus like a hobby, for example. You need to attract clients, like your ideal clients, optimally. You need to serve them with immense value. And then you need to retain them. And again, remember Veruca Salt, that golden egg, like I want it now, like I want to start selling content now. That is racing to the bottom of the funnel before you've paid attention to the top of the funnel. So again, if you do that, and if you try and race to the bottom of the funnel and chase that golden egg before doing everything else, you are going to get frustrated, and you're not going to have success eventually. So, and you run out of steam. So asking you today to consider all of the content that you need for these 3 stages. You need to attract, serve, and retain. Okay. And it was so interesting at one of our, I feel weird not seeing you when I'm talking to you. On one of our workshops, we had a practitioner who said that she has those 3 words plastered on like her whiteboard: attract, serve, and retain. Because if you are generating content or doing activities outside of these 3 pillars, it's not going to help drive practice growth. So you really need to kind of lock in. I know you need to do other things to support your business aside from these activities, but when it comes to content creation, truly, this is it. Like this is a formula. This is the secret sauce. And if you trust and follow the formula, and this is evidence-based kind of sales and marketing stuff, if you follow the formula, you will get the outcome that you're looking for. It's the same as a recipe, right? A recipe is a proven, tested formula. If you follow a recipe, you can, bake that cake and get it right every single time. If you don't follow this formula the way that we're outlining it today, you're not going to get the outcome that's expected, and it won't be reproducible, and you'll get frustrated, right? So it is kind of like baking a new cake, a new recipe, without the actual written recipe, without the framework. So I encourage you as much as possible to follow this framework. Having said that, I do understand that it is frustrating because people want to come in and they immediately want to start offering all of the content at, like that golden egg at the bottom of the funnel when they haven't done the work at the top of the funnel. So creating a thriving and sustaining practice, using content, it requires work. It requires perseverance. We're here to help you with that. So, our members, our Living Plate RX members, have a lot of the content creation burden lifted from them because we support them with the white labeled content. But there's still a lot of work to do, right? At the top, middle, and the bottom of the funnel. So let's just talk about the practice growth content and kind of how it fits into this framework. So attract, serve, and retain. At the top of your funnel, you have the kinds of content that are going to attract your ideal customer avatar. And we're going to talk a little bit about kind of how you can define that today too. So things like social media, opt-ins, challenges, blogs. Now, if part of your strategy is to, as a private practice, to get most of your business from referring practitioners and local hospitals and hospital groups, then the social media doesn't have to be at the top of your funnel. That's not even part of your strategy. So you can do other things like challenges and referral programs and things like that. So the attraction content actually that you are going to be creating is going to look different based on your business strategy. When you register using the link that Hillary and Jen just dropped in Facebook, when you register for Elevate Your Practice, we kind of take you through that, like that discovery process, like, who am I, right? And who am I serving? And so at the top of your funnel, you have social media, you have opt-ins, you have challenges, blogs. That's all like attraction content. That's not the kind of content that you necessarily sell. So again, if somebody said, hey, I've got access to these meal plans, I want to start offering them for sale, that's not necessarily top of the funnel, unless you have like thousands of people coming into the top of your funnel. Selling meal plans as an a la carte option it's not going to generate passive income. I don't care what anybody says. Like you can sell meal plans, and I think the best way to use meal plans is to incorporate them into practice offers by adding value. You can sell meal plans, but you have to have achieved a certain level of influence in order to do that as kind of a top of funnel activity. So the idea here, sorry, I have a little bit of a cold. The idea here is to get as many people into your funnel as possible with social media, opt-ins, things like challenges, blogs, usually free content, could be very low paid. And then to serve, you're talking about different kinds of content. Once you've attracted somebody and you've given them high value in exchange for their email, like that's what you're looking for. If you have an opt-in, you're getting an email. If somebody signs up for a free challenge, you're getting the email. Blogs, people come to your website, there's a pop-up for an opt-in, right? You're always collecting the emails so that you can take it to the next level. For social media, there are actually really great platforms now, technology that you can use to capture emails. I'm thinking ManyChat is a great option. But even on a story, if you post a story on social media, you can now include a link to say, sign up for this free opt-in and collect an email. Once you have the email, then you can, start serving them with more content and eventually converting them to a paying client where they get to the bottom of the tunnel and you can serve up your golden egg. Is that making sense to everybody? Oh, hi, there's a LinkedIn user here, and it says, it's been 4 months and I'm still at the top of the funnel. That's okay. Totally okay, LinkedIn user. I can't see who it is, but thank you for commenting. Yeah, takes time. It takes time, and it never stops too. So you're never at the top of the funnel and then move to the middle of the funnel and stop with your top of the funnel activities. You're always in attraction phase, right? That's the idea of a sustainable business. And that's why I think that so many people burn out with creating content, especially social media, right? Like if you're posting even 3 or 4 times a week, like that's time. That's not revenue generating time, right? That's not time where you're in a counseling session or running a group program, right? You're not getting paid for that. So, as much as possible, you try and make those attraction activities as efficient as possible, which again is how our membership supports practitioners, right? We give you all that content. You just have to modify it. Oh, it's Raksha. Hey, Raksha. Good. Yeah. So just keep with those attraction activities, right? Just continue with offering a variety of high value pieces of content, and you'll eventually start, filling your funnel, and then you'll have people there to convert. So that's all the content that you have to create. It's a lot of content, right? But you have to start somewhere. And so if you're new to practice, or if you're new to Living Plate RX and you're saying, oh, like, what do I do first? If you haven't built a sales funnel or even thought about it in this way, attraction content's where you need to start. Don't bother building a digital course. Like, just start creating opt-ins, start maybe doing some, if you have a small email list, use some of the newsletters that we now have as part of our content from our members. But before you create anything, before you create an opt-in, before you write an email, newsletter, anything, you need to be able to answer these 3 questions. Do not create one piece of content until you can, in detail, answer these 3 questions. Now, I say in detail because you can't say content creation these days without talking about ChatGPT or other AI tools, right? Because they definitely help accelerate the process for creating content. But the content that you create using AI tools, is only as good as the inputs that you give the machine, right? So if you don't know who you are, who you serve, and how you serve them, don't bother creating any content, whether you're using, AI or not, because it's not going to be content that resonates and it's not going to feed your funnel. So it's really important that you're able to identify who you are, who you serve, and how you serve them. And again, in the workshop where we just dropped the link. So if you want to drop that link again, Jen, just so that our people who've just joined us can see that would be great. This is what we cover in the workshop in great detail. So in terms of who you are, like, what are your values? I'm going to give you a really great example of why values matter. If one of your core values is that you are compassionate and empathetic, and you're a teacher and a nurturer, right? Those are all values that I actually would assign to my brand, right? Because it's just like kind of the way that I'm wired. If those are your core values, it's going to be hard to like not show up and like in this way, somewhat, right? So it's kind of meta. Like, I'm sharing with you some of the content, these Q&A, office hour, and strategy calls that I offer my community because they align with my values of like helping people. It's really hard to have those kinds of values with a brand that's not like a personal brand, right? It's hard to communicate empathy and compassion and nurturing through a logo. So if you are on social media and those are some part of your core values, or some of your core values kind of align with that, then you need to show up. You need, in some way, you need to host free webinars. You need to host like Q&A sessions for your ideal customer avatar, reels, stories, all those kinds of things that can help share the values that you have and that in your business. That's where your core values are kind of permeating your content, right? The content is the live session. The content is the cooking demo or the live cooking demonstration that you're doing, right? And then also who you are leads into who do you serve? Like, who is your ideal customer avatar? You need to have, and in the workbook that you will now have access to, you need to have that in writing, right? Because if you're going to be using artificial intelligence like ChatGPT to help you generate content, like we share with you in the workshop, then you need to have it written down. So just saying that, I serve this population so that they can overcome this problem, that's great, but you need to write it down, because you're going to feed that into the machine to help you. If you're a Living Plate RX member, you're going to use it to modify the content. If you're not a Living Plate RX member, you're going to use it to actually create the content from scratch, right? But you need to understand, whether you're using AI or not, who your ideal customer avatar is. You also need to understand what their problems are. So this is still under kind of who you serve, right? What are the problems, the key problems that impact your ideal customer avatar's life, right? The problems that really trigger emotions are usually the best ones, the things that they're really frustrated with. Now, for the top of the funnel content, you want to pick one problem and kind of give a quick win, right? So if people, let's say that you serve people who are touched by IBS, for example, right? Irritable bowel syndrome, and they're exploring a low FODMAP diet, but they don't really know what it is, right? How about a grocery list of low FODMAP foods with some recipes assigned to it, right? That's a quick win. And that solves a problem of them not knowing kind of what foods to navigate. So again, we're going super, super high level here. The workshop, we go a lot deeper, but this is, again, just pointing back to what we're talking about today is practice growth content, like content that you're going to be creating that drives practice growth. Think of that funnel: attract, serve, and retain. And you need to apply all of this to that, right? Because if you're creating content that doesn't resonate with your ideal customer avatar and doesn't show your values, then it's just not going to land well, right? So now you know who you are, your core values, you know who your ideal customer avatar is and what their problems are. Now, how are you going to serve them, right? You're going to serve them through providing a solution. You have to identify what the solution is. You need to be able to communicate what the solution is, like, how is this going to solve your problem? And only then can you create a content and an offer. So we have gotten a lot of questions from new members about, I'm ready to create content. I want to do this. And I am frequently having to remind people, I want you to take a step back and I want you to go through this process first and then create the content, right? Otherwise, you're going to be wasting a lot of time. Any questions on this? Any questions on our sales funnel, on our kind of key content questions that you need to ask yourself? And then just before we leave this, the value proposition is really a statement that brings all of this together. It really tells people who you are, how you're going to serve them, and what you can offer. Actually, I didn't prepare this, but I'll try and deliver it as best as I can, kind of what my core value proposition is. And if you're my ideal customer avatar, then this probably will resonate with you. So how, as a health and wellness practitioner, you often make nutrition recommendations as part of your care plans, right, in practice. And you offer these nutrition recommendations to your clients, but you really struggle with giving clients the tools that they need to put those recommendations into action, right? We're talking about behavior change. So just telling somebody that they need to change their diet and throwing information at them it's not enough, right? You need tools and resources to support the client in making this transformation that you're promising, right? So that's the problem. The solution is to tap into evidence-based resources that are already done for you. That's my solution for you, right? And then my offer is my Living Plate RX membership. So I shared with you kind of my core values, which is, I really want to help you kind of overcome this struggle of creating content for your patients, because I know you want to support them, with a very high level of integrity. And you guys are my ideal customer avatar, right? The practitioner, and then taking you through that problem, the solution, the content, and the offer. So that was a very loose kind of value proposition. Writing it down is really, really great practice. Reciting it is very good practice. You should be able to deliver it in a variety of ways, cocktail party, or even on a video sales letter. Within our membership, we support our members with doing a video sales letter, which is a video of you really making a case for why people should work with you, right? You can put it on your website. You can use it as part of a funnel, but that's all really important. And that is your value proposition, and it contains all of these different pieces. Somebody is asking a question. How do you find ideas for low ticket attractions, something to sell between 17 and 37 that they can consume within an hour? That is a really great question. Let's go back to our sales funnel. So what this Facebook user is asking is, how do you get ideas, right? Create ideas for a top of the funnel attraction piece of content that might be a low offer, like, 17, this person saying $17 to $37. So first of all, it has to be super, super high value. So whatever you're offering needs to be worth way, way more than $17 or $37. So when you watch, whoever's asking that question, I can't see, but if you watch the workshop, we just dropped the link. If you watch that workshop, you'll see my offer, which is $74. It's kind of a top of the funnel, low offer, but it's super, super high value, right? It's $3,000 worth of content. And so that's my first piece of advice to you is if you are going to create a low level opt-in, you make sure that it is an irresistible offer. And the value makes it irresistible. But what also makes it irresistible is that it resonates with your ideal customer avatar. So now that brings us back to this. And actually, let me just back it up one more. Here, who you are and who do you serve and how do you serve them? Like all of that has to, it's Celine. Hi, Celine. So all of that has to be communicated inside of this offer, right? It's called like a tiny little offer. And it really is a way for you to offer something super, super high value that solves an immediate problem. So Celine, going back to kind of the opt-in that we talked about, just pick one problem of your ideal customer avatar. And you're only going to know that if you kind of answer these questions here, right? So if you know your ideal customer avatar really well, you are very close to understanding what their problems are. Pick one and overcome it with that content bundle. I love content bundles. Those are my favorite offers. But Celine, I also think challenges could be really good. Let's say you do a 4-week challenge. Now, offering even a $17 or $37 offer, you need to have a certain level of influence to do that. Not everybody can do that. So you might be at the point in your practice growth where you are offering the challenge for free, right? And you're just trying to get as many people in your funnel as possible. But if you've already established yourself as a thought leader in a certain area, like you, Celine, then making that type of an offer can make sense. And the type of content you create solves one problem. You're not going to solve all of their problem for $17, right? Is they're not their problems. They're not going to opt into your higher offer. So just pick one problem, go really deep, and solve it. I hope that that was helpful. Okay. And the whole idea of this is that you need to stand out from everybody else. So in identifying through all of that content that you have to create in your funnel, identifying who you are, who you serve, and how you serve them, and going really deep with that and differentiating yourself from the competition is, kind of the ultimate. Like that is where you need to be. You need to offer something different. I would say being a generalist in the area of nutrition is not going to work. It'll be very, very hard to drive practice growth if you serve everybody with everything, right? Now, if you have a group practice, that's different, right? And if you take insurance, you do have to serve everybody. But when you're delivering content, you want the content to be specific to one kind of person. So if you have a group practice, you're going to attract different people with different types of content, but don't create the content, one piece of content for everybody, right? You want to go deep with the one piece of content. Another thing that I want to chat about in terms of, content creation. So now you all have a really good picture of the framework for creating content that drives practice growth, right? That's your sales funnel. You need to apply your understanding of who you are, who you serve and how you serve them. And then once you're ready to create content, that's when you need to start thinking about, okay, well, what kinds of content are going to support behavior change? We're all in the behavior change business. If you're a practitioner listening to me right now, you're a behavior change specialist, right? And so you need to pay attention to 3, I call them content types, pillars, to offer evidence-based content. Understand that the content that you create for like in your practice is the same as content that you create for the public on like social media. It's just that social media gives you a megaphone, right? So this is not just for social media. Sometimes when I start talking content types, people start thinking social media like reels or carousels. And yes, that's true. I'm really talking more about themes and areas of behavior change that you need to touch on to be an effective practitioner if you make nutrition recommendations as part of care plans. So we're talking about basically 3 pillars here: counseling and coaching, nutrition education, and culinary experience. If you don't have all 3, your clients are going to struggle, your clients are going to get frustrated, and you're not adding as much value as you can to your practice. Again, this is for people who are making nutrition recommendations as part of their care plans. Now, I think for most of us will agree that we're really comfortable with counseling and coaching because that's where a lot of our training comes in. A lot of us are also pretty comfortable with nutrition education, right? Like we could all pretty much create a decent handout on any given topic, right? So nutrition education seems to come pretty easy to us. The culinary experience pillar, on the other hand, is completely different. I think that we as practitioners, we struggle with that because generally speaking, we're really no different than the general population who struggles with confidence in the kitchen. So maybe you're a practitioner who's not necessarily that comfortable in the kitchen, but that's not an excuse not to support your clients in the kitchen, right? Because they will, if at the end of the day, your clients cannot prepare foods for them, prepare these foods for themselves in their own homes, they're not going to be able to change their behavior in a sustainable way. And that's what the evidence says. So while this, Venn diagram is something that I put together, it's not my original thought. Like this is what the evidence suggests, that you really need to have all 3 pillars as part of your practice. What is so interesting to me, I'm a new dietitian, became a dietitian about 9 years ago now, my second career. When I first became a dietitian, and it still continues to amaze me, right? Where you will see practitioners who say they are food is medicine practitioners, but they don't offer culinary support, culinary content. And I'm not talking about meal delivery, right? I'm talking about really supporting people with preparing these foods in their kitchens. Now, meal plans, that's the first thing we think about. Like, oh, I need to have meal plans. Yes, meal plans are great, but they are just one part of the culinary experience, one small part of the intervention. They are not the total answer, right? So when you're putting together your content, I want you to think about, is it counseling? Is it nutrition education? Is it culinary experience? Again, sign up for that workshop because I break this down in such detail for you. You're literally going to be able to just kind of follow along and work this out for yourself. You'll be able to create a month's worth of content very, very easily following the framework. Danny is asking, very helpful information. Thank you, Danny. Would you mind adding the link that you previously mentioned? Yes, of course. Hillary, can we drop that link again for registering for the summary of the workshop? That would be great. So you have these content types, right? So there's a lot to think about here, and I don't want to go too much into the weeds, but this really is the basics of content creation, and it will allow you to kind of move. I'm just going to take you quickly through these slides, which are in the workshop, which allows you, if you understand your sales funnel, you know who you're serving, how you serve them, right? And who you are. Only then can you do what's happening here, what you're looking at right now, which is mapping out your calendar that drives practice growth throughout the whole year, right? We map it out for you. And this is actually, Celine, I'm so glad that you're with me because I have you as an example today. So this is an example of, this is social media content, right? That Celine created. This is like culinary support. This is what culinary support looks like. It's also nutrition education. So what you'll find when you follow our formula for creating content that drives nutrition related health behavior change, it kind of blends. Sometimes you get counseling and culinary, counseling and nutrition education. They're not distinct pillars. They kind of overlap sometimes, but this is what it looks like, right? 3 reasons to add Brussels sprouts to your fertility diet. Clearly, Celine knows who she's serving. She is serving people who have been probably touched by infertility. If I'm right, am I right, Celine? People who where fertility is a concern of theirs. So she is speaking directly to them. She knows how she's going to serve them, and she's laying it out here. She's providing excellent evidence-based nutrition education. We provided her with the base content to do this, but then she put her brand on it, and she's providing culinary support as well here. Here's another example of someone who took, I think this is Maggie Connolly, who's a PCOS dietitian. She took a piece of content from our library. This is an ebook. I think this is a 26-page ebook. It's quite substantial. It was dropped last month. She took this ebook and turned it into this type of content. So the ebook could be used as an opt-in. She edited it to reflect her ideal customer avatar who is looking to improve PCOS and who's looking to manage PCOS. And she also created a social post for that. Okay. So just kind of giving you an idea of what these things look like in practice. Oh, great, Celine. Terrific. All right. Any questions on practice growth strategy for 2024? I actually think that just going through this process is probably helpful to answer a lot of the questions that have been coming in. Like, where do I start? Our Living Plate RX members get access to so much content that it is overwhelming, right? You've got 3 years now worth of content in your library with new content coming every month. And I just ask you to take a step back, right? Consider your sales funnel, consider your strategy, and don't create content until you kind of have a good idea of what your strategy is going to be. I hope that makes sense for everybody. Okay, so I'm just going to bring back up my banners. I'm going to remove the screen share, and we're going to start answering some questions. So if you have questions related specifically to practice growth strategy, content creation, and or Living Plate RX content, now's a great time to ask those questions, because I am going to post questions that people have been asking, and I'll answer them. A lot of them are going to relate back to what we already covered in our strategy. So get this question a lot. How much should I charge for fill in the blank, right? So how much should I charge for a course, or how much should I charge for a meal plan? The answer to the question is always, it depends, right? It depends on, your level of influence. Do you have if you have thousands and thousands, it's a numbers game really, right? If you have thousands of people in your funnel, then you're going to be able to charge more, right? You have thousands of your ideal customer avatar in your funnel, and they're moving towards the bottom, then you'll be able to charge more. Who is your ideal customer avatar? What population are you serving? All of that plays into how much you should charge. Me telling my community, you should sell meal plans for $125 a month, it means nothing. That number means nothing. So instead of asking how much should I charge for a meal plan or how much should I charge for a course, the question really should be, how much value can I bring my ideal customer avatar? When you can answer that question, then you can experiment and see, right? Can you get people to even buy it or opt into it as a free offer, right? If you're just starting out, you're going to have to start with free offers and really, perhaps sustain your practice through one-on-one counseling until you can get the other things going. That's where a lot of us actually start, right? Which is, we open up a practice, we start doing one-to-one, we either take insurance or we're private pay. And then we want to start getting away from one-to-one, maybe do a hybrid program or a course. But that really is a process. That is an evolution, what you're looking at right now, right? Top of the funnel, easier to attract somebody if they're coming to you with their insurance card or even just for one-on-one counseling, harder to sell a membership or a course. And again, it's just a numbers game. So how much should I charge? The answer is going to be, it depends. So really level of influence can answer that question pretty well. And when I say level of influence, I just mean like, how many people do you have in your pod, like in your sphere? Like, how many people do you have in your funnel? Okay, we also get this question a lot. Like, how do I deliver the content? So let's say we can do a couple of different scenarios here. And if you're thinking of creating a piece of content and you're struggling with the technology for delivering it, now's a great time to ask me. We have a question here, which I can answer. I am rebranding and trying to niche down. It feels like I'll be excluding an audience, so I'm having trouble with it. Who's ever asking that question, it's a great question, and it's one that gets asked often about niching down. A lot of us feel like if we niche down too much, then we're excluding too many people. It's really a mindset thing, but it has proven out to be true that the riches are in the niches. That's what they say in marketing, right? And it is true that only when you niche down can you deliver content that's relevant to somebody, right? So if you're just creating general content for everybody, it's just not going to resonate. So, niching down, and look, you can pivot too. Whoever asked that question, you can pivot. You can try a niche, and if it's not working out, pivot and open it up a little bit. But I think what most people find, and the practitioners who are most successful, is that they identify their niche and they go deep, right? They solve the problems of that person. And it feels like you're talking to a very small group of people, but there are millions of people probably in your niche. So it's scary. I understand that. But I ask that Deneen is asking that. Thank you so much, Hillary. So it'll also help you. Another Facebook group user is saying niching down help them feel less stressed and more focused. It is hard initially, but it's worth it. So I would say to that person, trust the process. Niching down is the way to go. So niching down is the way to go. And then your content creation process becomes so much easier, right? Your content creation process comes easier. Filling your funnel is easier because you're attracting the right kind of people and you're solving their problem, right? So that's great. Hillary is saying, yes, the ICA feels like you are in their head and that you can resonate with them, right? So you're constantly creating content that resonates specifically with them. Yeah, so don't be afraid. And also join our community, and you can always have these conversations in our private Facebook group and ask, because there are, there's likely not a niche that has not been explored, right? And some niches have, they start small, and then a lot of practitioners get in on them. So then there's more competition in that area. Like one example I would say is intuitive eating. And, that was a niche that really became, that deserved attention, always deserved attention, but really got attention maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I think. And now you have a lot more people in that space, but then the people who specialize in intuitive eating, they're going even deeper, right? Intuitive eating for athletes, for example. So you can start with a niche and keep it relatively broad, but then you're encouraged to go deeper. And the deeper you go, the more value you're going to be bringing to those people. Tina is saying, is there a video that reviews best process for giving clients access to the meal planning? Basically, basically, do clients need a tutorial for using the meal planner? That's here, I'll show that question, Tina, here. Great question, and one that I was actually going to be addressing a little bit later. Here, I'll just show it right now. Meal planner tutorial updates. So Tina, yes, our meal planner, just for those of you who either don't know about it, aren't currently using it, or if you're new, it is a digital meal planner. It is a dynamic space. It's a beautiful space to have a conversation around food and nutrition with your clients. It is a digital space. It's not a PDF. And the reason why I built the meal planner that way is because while PDF meal plans are, they're easy to control, they're easy to create, kind of answers a quick pain point real fast, right? Like, here's your meal plan. Just in practice, they don't work. They're limiting and they're restrictive, right? If you're handing somebody a PDF meal plan, it can be used as a guide, but some people also say, well, this is a mandate. My practitioner gave me this meal plan. I'm going to follow it exactly. So not being able to make changes to it is problematic, which is why we have the digital space. So to Tina's point, having videos, general videos that walk her clients through the meal planner can be really helpful. And Tina, we are updating all of those videos. So there are consumer-facing tutorials. Now, the meal planner itself is relatively intuitive. Let me just pull this up again. But I recognize that you have clients who might want to add their own recipes, or maybe they want to change a recipe. And that's, that requires just a quick video tutorial. So Tina, by next week, I think was my promise during our team meeting this morning, I'm going to have those re-recorded. The reason why I need to re-record them, Tina, is because the ones that are currently in your library, if you go to your Meal Planner Masterclass, you're going to see there. Actually, let me see if I can share my screen with you. Actually, I can't right now. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. Here we go. I'm going to share this tab instead. Okay, here we go. All right, Tina. So inside of your library, if you scroll down, you'll see your Meal Planner Masterclass and your content library. If you go to the Meal Planner Masterclass, you'll see here that there are consumer-facing meal plan tutorials right at the top here. They're pretty general, but we're going to be adding more to that category, and I'm going to redo them because we've had an update to the meal planner. We now have Nutritionix integration, which makes adding recipes super easy, and we just require that we do another tutorial for that. So that is coming. Oh, you're welcome, Tina. Great. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and go back to our banners. So any other questions on technology and delivering content? I just want to talk about, the technology that we work with and some things that you need to consider. If you're a registered dietitian or healthcare professional, it is likely that you use an EHR, an electronic health records system, or an EMS, electronic medical record system. You can use our products and our meal plans within any EHR. We integrate with Healthy. So Healthy is the only EHR that we have an integration with. But if you don't use Healthy, or you don't have you use another EHR, you can easily use our products and our meal planner to use that EHR as a vehicle. And my point here is to share with you that your EHR is your vehicle to deliver the content. I'm not your vehicle. Living Plate RX, we do not communicate with your patients for payments, for the content. We don't issue them courses. Like, that's you. You take our content, you infuse it with your UVP, right? Your unique value proposition. You add your branding, your assets, all of that. And then you use a vehicle that you wish. And for most practitioners, it's the EHR. If you don't have an EHR, then you might want to consider a learning management system, something like a Teachable, a Podia, a Kajabi, Thinkific, LearnDash. There are so many of them, right? These are vehicles to deliver the content. So to drive practice growth using content, you will need two things primarily. You need the content, which I've got you covered for that, or you can create it yourself from scratch. And you need a vehicle to deliver that content to the patient. Now, if you are a practitioner and you're working with sensitive health information, the EHR is the way to go. So if any of you want an introduction to Healthy, we're happy to make that happen. But again, you can use our products outside of any of those vehicles and choose the vehicle that you wish. Somebody is saying here that they use Practice Better and they have the programs in Practice Better and they're very easy to put together. Perfect. Yeah, we cooperate with Practice Better and Healthy to load programming for you. So as a practitioner, if you use either one of those EHRs, you can reach out to us if you're a member, and we actually preload the white labeled programs for you. You still need to go in and infuse it with your brand and kind of decide how you're going to be offering things, but we kind of get you much closer to the finish line. Okay. Okay, let's see here. How do we use this in Healthy? Great question, Julie. So again, Healthy is your vehicle. So in Healthy, you create you have a client, right? You've onboarded a patient, a client, and you want to offer them a course. You want to deliver them some cooking videos. You want to deliver them some handouts, all of these things that you have access to in Living Plate. You take all of that Living Plate content, you put your brand on it, and you edit it to speak to your ideal customer avatar, and then you upload it to Healthy. and healthy is your vehicle. It's basically like I say, healthy is the bus, and we load the bus, right? So we give you all the content that you need for your practice, like everything, like, assessment forms, all kinds of things that you need to run your practice. You just load them into Healthy, and Healthy is your vehicle. That's what their software does, right? It's practice management software. They can also help you with insurance billing and things like that. You can also bill through Healthy, right? So you can create a package, an option that includes all of your LivingPlate RX resources, right? Create something that's really high value that solves the problems of your ideal customer avatar, and then you can sell it through your EHR. You can collect payments that way as well. Okay, somebody else is saying, any thoughts about low-cost ways to do this? For example, I don't have an EHR, but Teachable and similar can be pricey. So just do an assessment of the learning management systems that are out there. I think, probably somewhere around $49 to $59 per month is going to be the least expensive way to deliver this content. Now, if you're really just starting out, you can use email, but you need an email service. So that's another piece of technology I just wanted to touch on today. So you wouldn't need the EHR. You could start delivering some content via email, but whoever asked that question, managing interactions with clients without some type of like software, some type of home base is going to be really, really difficult to grow your practice. So it is an investment for the person who asked that question. And the best that you can do is to make the right investment, right? Pick the right software for your practice at the time. Now, all of the EHRs, as well as I think the learning management systems, they offer free trials, and they also offer kind of a free level where you can start with like maybe 5 patients or less. Don't quote me on that, but you can have a certain number of patients for free just to kind of experiment to see if it's going to work for you. And then you can kind of scale from there. But it will be very hard. And one of the things I wanted to just bring up today, where was it? The systems and processes, right? It's going to be really hard to establish systems and processes for your practice without that technology, right? So if you have an opt-in, just do something really simple. Let's say you have your website, right? Somebody opts in for a piece of high value content. Where does that person go? Right? That person likely needs to go to your email service, and then you need to send them an email, and then maybe you onboard them to your EHR. There's a lot of systems and processes, pretty simple triggers, but still those are the triggers that drive practice growth, right? Again, going back to, let me just share my screen again. Where are we? Here we go. Going back here, right? Once you have people coming to the top of your funnel, the systems, the processes, the technology, these are all things that are kind of making that funnel run, making that funnel work. So for the person who asked that question about, trying to do it as cost efficiently as possible, you're going to have an investment. It's just making that right choice, I think. I don't think that you can drive practice growth without having certain things in place. Again, the vehicle, the content, and kind of this technology to support you. Somebody's asking, I'm creating a course and everything will be in Flowy. Am I able to download to this platform? That's so interesting. I've never heard of Flowy. Is that a learning management platform? If you subscribe or use a platform that is a vehicle, I'm guessing that Flowy, that is a vehicle to deliver content to consumers, you can use all of our content in there. There's nothing that restricts where you can use our content. So if you're comfortable with Flowy and you like the way that it's delivering content and value to your ideal customer avatar, then you absolutely can use LivingPlate RX content. You wouldn't integrate, right? You're not going to integrate LivingPlate RX content because you still need to change the content in the library. So our value is that we provide you all of this content that you need to run your practice as a white labeled offer. So you can go in, you put your brand on it, you change the colors, as you saw in my examples earlier. You put your brand all over it, right? You sprinkle your brand everywhere, you change the content, and then you can upload it to Flowy. So yes, there's a lot of ways to do it. Never heard of that one though. So good luck with that. Let us know how that one goes. Okay. So the systems and processes, that was kind of next after technology. So you have your vehicles that help you with the funnel, email services, there are so many great ones out there now. As your funnel fills, the price tends to go up. So sometimes you're moving from one platform to the other, but there are some really reasonable email services out there. So that's going to be the other kind of piece that you're going to need to help you with these processes. Also, a place where you can create opt-in forms, right? We talked about opt-ins here at the top, right? People signing up for, like, how does that happen? Now your EHRs can help you with deliver things like challenges and courses to existing patients, but EHRs are not the best marketing vehicles, right? You're better off to have an email service with an opt-in. The reason why EHRs can't necessarily serve best as marketing kind of vehicles is that people have to complete an onboarding process, right? They're coming into your electronic health record system. So they're coming into a healthcare space and they haven't even dated you yet. Like they're just like, I just want the opt-in, right? So you'll need to kind of do that opt-in form. And a lot of the times you can do that. The technology for that can be through an email service, or it can be through an LMS. I use Kajabi. I absolutely love it. I also use String Connect, which helps me with my technology. Okay. Oh, you're welcome. Okay. Let's go back to our questions. Okay. So the meal plan tutorial updates, I already covered that. We're going to have those ready for our members very, very shortly by next week. Okay, those will be ready for you in your meal planner, and they're great for in your meal plan masterclass. They're great for you, but then they're also really terrific for your clients. We'll give you the option for downloading them for them too. Okay, cooking videos, editing, and sound. So that we got this question like quite a bit last week. It was kind of a hot topic. Like, what do I do with these videos? So, remember I showed you that those pillars, right? Let's go here. I'm going to add this to the stage. Right here, there we go, right? We have our culinary experience. So in our culinary experience pillar of content, you have cooking videos. Now, cooking videos are so great for so many reasons. They're super, super high value, right? They're very hard to create. So our members get videos that they can brand, which we'll talk about in a second. So they get videos that they can brand and edit and use however they want on social media or in practice as part of courses. Super high value. People love watching cooking videos, but they're also really good, like from an education perspective, because a lot of your clients or your potential clients might be visual learners, right? So giving them a recipe might be good, but giving them a recipe and a cooking video, that's a slam dunk, right? So we give you access to lots of cooking videos. You get access to 3 new cooking videos every month. And we're, again, 3 years in there. So let me just see here. I want to pull up a cooking video for you, and I'll give you an example. Just going into Canva. If anybody has any questions, now's a good time to drop them in. I'm just going to go into Canva here really quick and go into our cooking videos library, and I want to share something with you here. Okay, so let's look at some of the February videos, some of my favorite videos yet. Okay, so I'm going to make my screen bigger. Just going to hide myself here. Okay, I'm going to share this. All right, there we are. Perfect. I'm just going to hide myself so that we can see the bigger picture here. So this is a cooking video that our members have access to, right? We dropped jar salads, winter jar salads for last month. I'm going to click edit here. So you have access to a template. You're going to click edit. I'm actually make a copy of this, sorry, because I don't want to edit the original. Okay, here we go. All right, so now we're on the page that you would actually land on. It's a copy of the video. So when you are in your library and you click on a video to open it up and take a look at it and edit it, you're going to see this up here, right? So you're going to rename it. So I will just do LPRX because that's my brand, but you can add your brand. So this video has sound with it. Okay, every video has sound. Now, you can't separate from where we are here in Canva. You can't separate the audio from the visual and change the sound. But what you can do you can see up here, there's a little megaphone here, a little volume control. You click on that and you mute it. What I want you to pay special attention to is if you have a video that has multiple segments, most of them actually don't, but some of the longer ones do, you have to mute all segments, right? So I'm going to mute all of this, so that's good. So now this video does not have any sound. So if I download it, it will not have sound, and I can use it as, I can voice over it for social media. I can do a voiceover for a like a challenge or a demo or a course, right? So all you have to do is click the volume here and mute it. Just press this mute button here. So that was a question that we got. Also, adding your logo. So one of the things I will say is that adding the video is not totally easy in Canva, especially if you have multiple cells like we do here. You'll have to post a video on both, but most videos actually are just one cell, so you can just post it once. If you, let me just go to, let me see if I have my logo here. I'm pretty sure I do. Okay, so here are my logos, right? So we strongly recommend, and we take you through the process of uploading your logos to Canva. So any logo that you want to use. Now, if I click on this and I drag it into here, it's going to replace the entire video. So we don't want that to happen. So the answer is to click on it and just click on it, right? And then you can move it around and you can resize it. You can also lock this. Let me just go here. Okay, let me just lock this. See this little lock up here? You can lock it here, and then you can also, resize this too, right? So a couple of ways that you can do it. So just experiment with that and get in terms of getting your logo on here, and then you could move it to different places on the video. What I recommend that our members do is you could put your like Fabicon logo in the corner here, but a really great thing to do, if you go all the way to the end here on the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see a plus sign here. You can add a plus, that's a blank now. Now, just see here, I'll go into my recent uploads and let's just say, let's see if I can find something with a logo over here. This is getting a sneak peek behind the scenes here. Let's just say I had, I just want to hear, I'll just pick somebody's logo, okay? So I can create now a intro and an outro. I can drop my logo here. I can drop some text for the video here. Just drop, it's a heading, just drop some text there. Let's make that bigger. Okay, so you can create whatever you want for this intro, and then you drag it to the front here, right? And then you don't want it to be 5 seconds because then otherwise it's going to play for 5 seconds before your video starts. Just make it 1 second or less, right? So then people can see your intro to your video and it goes right into that, right? So if you're posting it in your course or you're posting it on social media, they're going to see the intro, and you can do the same thing for an outro. So 2 ways that, I hope this is helpful, 2 ways that you can edit your video and remove the sound. Any questions on that? Okay, a question. Do you think you'll ever start including vertical cooking videos along with the landscape orientation? We already do that. So whoever's asking that question, let me share with you, you mean the full length or the reels? Because we do offer reels. Let me just go ahead and present, I'll share with you. Let me go into the library here. I think that's going to be the best thing to do. Okay, so let's go into the library. Let's go back and let's go find cooking videos. I'm just going to scroll a bit until I find it. Here we go. Here's our cooking videos collection. So for those of you who are not members, this is our library. You're getting a sneak peek on the inside of our library. Members, this is what it looks like. Just has your name on top. All right, so let's just take a look at our March content drop. So we have strawberry oat milk. I'll click on that. And actually, this is a terrible example because it is a short video. So let's go here. We'll go to a longer one. Perfect. All right, so what we do for almost all of our videos is that we'll have a full length and a social length. The social length videos are shorter and can be used in this landscape view. but then you can also access Reels for these videos in your social media collection. So let's quickly go to our social media collection. Those are vertical. So if you're using them for social media, the vertical ones, let's just scroll here to get to social media. The vertical ones already are an appropriate length. So if a video is 3 minutes long, which would be very long for us, we try and keep them pretty short, then we try and get it to a minute. So let's just go here to March videos. Okay, so let's actually scroll down to February, see what we have there. Perfect. So these are, I'm going to open this up and then I'll open up this tab. Great. And you'll see it's vertical there. So for almost every video, I won't say for almost, for every video that we produce, we do have a vertical view for stories and Reels. Is that what you were looking for? Okay, you're welcome for the Reels. Yeah, you're very welcome. You could also, I've never tried it, but let's try it with the copy that we made together. Let me share this tab again. Let me just delete this, see what happens. So inside of Canva, there is now this new resize and magic switch. Can you see that? All right, I'm just coming back to make sure you can see that at the top here. So let's go to resize and magic switch. And let's say I want it to be a story size here. So let's see what happens. I actually haven't done this before. So it's an experiment we can do together. I'm going to resize this design. Okay, so what you can do, I'm going to unlock that now. So you can do one of two things, depending on the video, right? You can either size it to be the size that you want it to be, right? And there are going to be parts of that video where it works and parts where it doesn't. So you're going to have to adjust accordingly, but you can do that to resize it. Or let me just go back to the way that we had it. Just go down here. Okay. Or you can keep it like this if you wanted to deliver the content on Reels or in Stories. You can keep it like this, and you can use a computer template, right? So let me just go here, like an element. Just go to computer. Okay, I'm going to make my computer. It's not going to be totally neat and tidy here, right? Oops. Okay, let me lock that. Whenever you don't want an element to kind of mess up another element, just lock it. And then let's put this position to come front. There we go. And then I can resize this. There we go. Great. And now I can just take this and move it. Just unlock this now. And I'm going to move it. Oops, not that way. There we go. I'm going to move it to the center here. Great. And now I can add text on top. And now my video is going to play like it's on a computer, right? So there are a couple of different, and there's so many really cool templates that you can use inside of Canva. So you can either resize it or you can put it inside of a frame, like a computer frame, a phone frame, something like that. I hope that makes sense. Was that helpful? I hope that was helpful for you. Okay, any other questions on cooking videos? Okay, recipe editing. I'm just going to take you into the meal plans really quick. Let me share my screen with you. We are retaping the tutorials. Just going to minimize myself here. Great. We are retaping the tutorials for recipe editing because it's changed a bit. Let me just go into my recipes for a second. That's going to be the best way to show you. So if you wanted to edit a recipe, you click on that recipe from wherever you are. So it could be in your recipe box. It could be in your meal planner. Just click on that recipe and it'll open up and you'll have the option to copy and edit it, print it, whatever you wanted to do there. But let's say I wanted to edit it. I could edit the actual recipe or I can copy it and like make a new one. But let's say I wanted to use peanut butter instead of almond butter. I'm going to change that to peanuts. And then I'm going to edit this ingredient to 1/4 cup of peanut butter. And the new integration, once you check this, will go and retrieve that from the USDA database. So now if you take a look down here, it's changed to peanut butter. It's peanut butter. You can always take a look at just to cross-check, make sure all of the measurements are good. Yep. So that's good. And now my nutrition facts have changed as well, right? And then I just save it. Just go down here and save the recipe. and it will now be apple wheels with peanut butter. Okay, so really simple, somewhat intuitive, but I do want to make sure that you and your clients are really comfortable with doing that. Any questions on recipe editing? Somebody just said, that was amazing. Isn't that fun? Yeah, so funny. You know, with software engineering is just like fascinating to me. So I have always wanted that to be the case for Living Plate RX. But 4 years ago, it wasn't possible because the integrations just weren't there, right? They just weren't good enough. And we found, actually met NutritionX, reconnected with them at Fency, and their tool had evolved to the point where we were very comfortable. Like the margin of error is very small. It goes really quickly. And so we integrated them for you. So you don't have to pay extra for it. It's part of the meal planner. I will say one other integration that people ask for quite a bit is recipe, like grocery fulfillment, grocery delivery. And the reason why we haven't integrated that is because the integrations aren't that great yet. We're just now starting to explore again, but they were sending things to people's homes that weren't on their meal planner, right? So it has to be close to perfect in order for us to integrate it. So just know that we're always looking to make things quick and easy for you, to improve your workflow, and to make sure that you can build out these really fantastic dynamic interventions for your clients without a ton of work. So we're hearing that was amazing. That was amazing. Yeah, super simple, right? That's really cool. So there's a lot of really great things that you can do now inside of your meal planner. And again, let me just go into the signature plans and I can show you that at the recipe level, because we get this question quite a bit. Let me go into our March challenge planner. This is just a demo planner that I created. You can add notes in your planner. So let's say the strawberry chia pudding, I wanted to change, something about this. Maybe I didn't want to use coconut milk. Maybe I wanted to use almond milk instead. You can copy and edit it. Now, if you're doing it from within the meal planner, what's going to happen is that you want to rename it always, so that you know it's you're editing your recipe. Here we go. Let's say we wanted to use almond milk instead. I'm going to check this. Now, this recipe that I'm editing is now going to replace that original one in the planner. So you're not having to go search it again, which is pretty cool. So almond milk, yes, let's just do a check. Let's just make sure that it's coming up with cups. Perfect. Close that. Done. Nutrition facts recalculated. Let's go ahead and save that. I acknowledge that it's okay. And now we have our LPRX strawberry chia pudding here in my signature meal plan that I'm using for a course or something like that. Okay. And then you'll also, let's save that as a favorite of mine. And now I can go into the recipe box. Here it is, right? And maybe I want to add it somewhere else on my planner. So I'm just really giving you guys a sneak peek at the power of the planners. I'm going to add it here. I'm going to add it here. And then we're going to make these guys leftovers because we don't need to buy that many strawberries this week. And there we go. Okay. Any questions on recipes, editing, adding recipes to the meal planner? Had quite a few questions this week coming in about that. Okay. And then the notes that you're seeing here are super easy to add to your meal planner. Let's just go back to the meal planner here. Going to go back to my dashboard. Inside your meal plans, you can add, at the client level, you can add notes, but you can also, let's say you're building a signature plan for a course like this March challenge. You can add notes that all clients will see. So all clients who are receiving this challenge are going to receive these notes from you, right? And they'll be able to click and drag and edit and do everything that they need to do. And we are shooting these videos to show your clients how to do this for themselves, because the idea is that you don't want to forever be editing meal plans for your clients. Eventually, you want them to be able to do it themselves, right? That's the idea. Okay. Let's see here. Customizing and issuing a special diet plan. All right. So you saw that I was just editing like a March challenge, right? Let's say I had a client or a group of clients with very, very specific dietary needs, and for a very restrictive diet, right? And we do have those circumstances in medical nutrition therapy where we're doing like an elimination diet or a challenge where we really don't want the clients to be changing the meal plan all that much. Doesn't mean that they have to follow it exactly, but we want them to stick to the foods that we're suggesting for that week as closely as possible. Inside of your meal planner, I guess we can add it to the stage again here. I'll show you. Inside of your meal planner, when you issue the client a meal plan, so let's say I have a client that I want to issue this challenge to, but I don't want them to change the meal planner. You have the option of issuing them a static meal plan. So this answers the question for the person who asked it this week. If you are creating a very kind of absolute plan, right, that's going to be used for a finite period of time, like we don't want to do this long term, the best bet is to curate the plan and issue it as a static plan so the client can't change it. Then once triggers are identified and liberation starts happening, then you switch them to the customizable, right? So you have that option. When you have, we get a lot of questions, from practitioners who use like our special carbohydrate diet plan, for example. Like that is the kind of plan that maybe you do want to issue as a static plan to start. And then as you start liberalizing the diet, then you can switch them to a customizable and give them some guidance in the counseling session on how they can change the diet and how they can search for other foods. Does that make sense? Okay, Tina is asking a question. Any idea how long until the tech may be perfect for grocery delivery? Yeah, well, not years. I don't think it's going to be years, Tina. I think it just depends. Like it's not us. Like we generate a grocery list, right? So our meal planner, at the end of creating meal plan, you can generate a grocery list. It's really, I think AI is going to be accelerating the process, Tina, where these natural language models are going to be able to decipher a grocery list and have it translate perfectly. My issue with, even if that is perfect, is that the client will still need to be able to make some choices on the grocery list. So let's say your client wants organic strawberries, but they want conventional oranges. We don't specify that in the meal planner, right? It's just strawberries and oranges. That specification has to happen on the grocery list side. So again, it might be one of those things that in theory sounds great, but in practice might not play out so great. But we are very willing to investigate it to kind of see if it can work, right? And if the client can edit the grocery list, the final grocery list on the other side, kind of outside Living Plate RX, then that probably can work. But we're moving, I think I don't think it's years. I think that we are committed to investigating that in the second half of this year or so. If it works right now, we're focusing on other integrations that will improve your experience and your client's experience. But it is on the radar. Okay, any other questions about customizing and issuing special plans? All right, we had questions about vegan resources. I love these questions. We do get it often, practitioners who either focus on plant-based diets or they're focusing on transitioning people to more plant-based. Living Plate RX, I was going to say we, right? At Living Plate RX, we do not, we serve all practitioners, right? So we do not advocate for any one style of eating. So we serve all practitioners under the umbrella of evidence-based nutrition practice, right? So while we don't advocate for any one style of eating, most of our materials are very plant heavy. I would say that overall, our content library conforms to the Harvard School of Public Health kind of healthy plate, where 3/4 of the plate or more, so it could be 100%, 3/4 of the plate or more is plant focused, right? So low glycemic index fruits and vegetables mostly, but then other fruits and vegetables, grains, nuts, seeds, healthy oils, all of that. And then 1/4 or less high quality animal protein. So things like, eggs and salmon and lamb and beef and, all of that. So we have all of that in Living Plate RX, but our focus really is on that 3/4 because truly most people don't struggle with grilling chicken, right? Or roasting a pork loin. Like that's not really where the struggle is. So if we're thinking about behavior change, really where people struggle is with creating meals that incorporate more vegetables, whole grains, and fruits. And so a bulk of our content does focus on that. So for example, our cooking videos that we publish every month, we're very mindful to make sure that we have mostly plant heavy recipes. Now there's going to be things like cod and salmon and chicken and turkey as well, but they will incorporate vegetables kind of in there too. Like the jar salad that I showed you, right? It was layered with black beans, sweet potatoes, tons of raw vegetables, lots of color. And then we also added cooked chicken to that, right? So just know that if you are 100% focused on plants for your practice, we got you covered. Okay. All right. And then last up, I just wanted to share with you a special event. Oh, Tina is saying, I see. That's exciting. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Good. I'm glad you're part of our community, Tina. You asked such great questions. Okay. Question. Are people offering meal plans as part of a monthly membership? Really great question. And the answer is yes, they are. So when you issue a client a meal plan, here, we can just add this as stage because we're right there right now. So let's say, you can include the meal plans for as many months as you want. So let's say I wanted to do, so a finite program, let's see here. Where did my March challenge go? There it is. Okay. So let's say that March challenge meal plan I wanted to issue to a client. I can choose, in Living Plate RX, you have unlimited number of client accounts and meal plans that you can issue. So you can do this for 12 months. Or you can use it for, 4 months. Let's say you're doing a 4-month challenge, right? So you can do that. And then once you issue that, let's say it's a year-long membership, if the client is coming up and they renew, like you wouldn't want it to be ongoing because then that's like a lot to manage, right? So if they continue to renew for the next year, then you simply go to that client again and you just extend it for another year. You hit extend, custom planner, and then you pick a termination date in the future. So yes, you can and should include meal plans as part of your monthly membership. For whoever asked that question, if you are thinking about putting together a membership program, I'm so excited for you because you have in Living Plate RX, you have access to so much content that adds value to that membership. And what I encourage you to do is think about the content drops, right? So we do drops every month for our members. Think about, you are a member of our community, right? And what is that membership like? You look forward to content in each one of those categories being published every month. So for a membership, I encourage you to think about what are those categories that solve problems for my ideal customer avatar. Like, perfect example of that. We never used to offer social media content, but our community was like, we need social media content and a lot of it. So we now include that in our membership. So listen to your clients, understand what they want, and then create categories of content that you can include in that membership. And, we deliver new content to you every month. So you're never going to be at a loss for creating content for your membership. But let's say, every month you drop a new meal plan for the month, a refreshed meal plan for the month. You create a new recipe pack. You have new handouts. You do Q&A sessions like this. Like, just so excited for you to do that. And again, as a member, like, it just makes it a joy because you can just go into your Living Plate RX library, pick what you want for that month, and then publish it. And, really importantly, you can work ahead too. You don't ever want to be like, oh, my members are expecting the content now. And, I've been in that position before and I have to rush to get the content together. You can, plan ahead because we give you all of that ahead. Okay. And somebody else is asking a question. Let me just see if I can pull this up. If you don't have this, it would be amazing if Living Plate RX could create 5 to 6 breakfasts, 5 to 6 MRT lunches that we could use that are basic and swap in with certain foods. Okay, so this is a question from a CLT, a certified LEAP therapist. I love this, who's ever asking that question. And the answer is yes. So you don't have to wish for content to happen. You actually make it happen. So Hillary, could you, if you're still on with me, sorry, we're running late. Hillary, if you could drop the link for the Google form for this Facebook user for me, we have a form that you can request content. All of the content in the Living Plate RX library is community requested, community and practitioner created, and practitioner reviewed, right? So we have a 3-step process. You suggest the content, we create the content, and then we review the content. That's actually our workflow. I think that was Deneen. So you play a very large role in what is in our library. Let me just want to show you where you can go to make these requests. Let me just go here. I think it is here. I'm going to share this tab. Great. Okay, so you can see this now. We're in the library again. Okay, let me just go back here to the main library, and you will see at the very, very top, there's the front desk. You go into the front desk for all of you watching. If you have any ideas, if you have any needs, what can we do to support you? You need to tell us here. There's a suggestion box with content recommendations. There's a link. Just click that link and submit your content request. And, you know, almost always, if you are requesting it, then somebody else needs it too. So we'll just move forward with creating it. Thank you, Hillary, for dropping that. Oh, that was Caitlin who asked that question. Terrific. So Caitlin, whatever other LEAP resources you need, let us know and we will create them. That's wonderful because we have many certified LEAP therapists in our community and they would appreciate that content, I'm sure. Thank you, Caitlin. Okay, last but not least, I just wanted to share with you all that we are going to be in person at Today's Dietitian in Salt Lake City. I just posted the link that gives you a significant discount if you want to come to Today's Dietitian. Today's Dietitian Symposium is an annual symposium. It's fantastic. The lineup of speakers is really, they're always really good. Like the symposium is one of my favorite events of the year, always has been. And that was even before Today's Dietitian was my official partner. But it's a really great symposium. The lineup of speakers is fantastic. So if you're in the Salt Lake City area, or if you need CEUs and you're thinking that you want to have that experience, let us know if you're going. We're going to be doing plenty of events, meals, cocktail parties, like fun stuff, also learning events. We're going to be hosting a pre-conference mastermind. We'll be putting out an application for that pretty soon. But we would love to see you there. So if you're going to be anywhere near Salt Lake City, May 19th to the 22nd, we'd love to see you. Oh, Hillary, thank you so much for dropping the link. Is somebody asking for the link for Today's Dietitian? You know, I think I posted that, I pinned that to the top of the Facebook group. I'll just, that LinkedIn user who's asking that question, please make sure you join our private Facebook group. It's called Scale Your Nutrition Practice. Hillary, if you just want to type that in for everybody, that'd be great. Scale Your Nutrition Practice is a private Facebook group. We accept all practitioners, whether you're a member or not. Really, it's just a space to support each other and talk about, you know, creating content that helps drive practice growth. We do a lot of events like this there, so you can join us there. LinkedIn user saying, love cocktails. I don't drink. Me too. I love mocktails. Yeah. Thank you so much, Hillary, for doing that. Facebook user saying, when I try to log in, it says the school is offline. Okay, great. I am so glad that you asked that question. Here's what's happened. It's the beginning of the year, so we've had quite a few members who haven't tapped into their Living Plate RX resources in a couple of months. And in that time, we've transitioned the entire library from Teachable over to Kajabi. So Facebook user who is asking this question, please, Hillary, if you can make sure that we just get back to this person about logging in. We just need to get you your login for the new library, which is this library here, right? So this is not what you're seeing now because you're clicking on the Teachable link. We have closed that library because we're operating in Kajabi, which is a temporary space while we build our proprietary software. So in May at Today's Dietitian, we are going to be launching the new Living Plate RX platform. Nothing's going to change about the meal planner. Nothing's going to change about the content. It's just going to be a lot easier to navigate. We're putting it all in one place, single sign-on, so you don't have multiple logins. It's going to be really fantastic. Oh, Lisa, thank you. Thank you, Hillary, for asking that. Question. Facebook user question, can you speak to RDCEU opportunities through Living Plate? Another great question that I'm so happy, excuse me, to answer for you. Hold up. Sorry. This cold is getting the best of me. So Facebook user who's asking that question, Living Plate RX was acquired minority ownership by Today's Dietitian in October. What that means is that all of our members now have access to 15 CEUs every year. Like literally membership is worth it just for that alone. It's awesome. I love that we're able to add this value to Living PlateRx membership. And even if you're not an RD, like just learning opportunities for you. But if you're an RD, you are required to earn on average 15 CEUs per year. So that is included in your membership. We are just now working that out in terms of what it's going to look like for our members. We want you to be able to select your own learning opportunities from within the extensive Today's Dietitian Learning Library. And so that's what we're working out now. So probably in a couple of weeks, Deneen, you'll be able to see that you'll be able to access your CEUs. So you'll be able to use a coupon for 15 CEUs per year. You'll be able to go into Today's Dietitian, pick your learning opportunities, earn your CEUs. So, we're trying to support you as much as we can in all areas of practice, and professional development is one of them. And so we are super excited to be partnered with Today's Dietitian on that. Somebody's asking, did it expire? I'm not really sure what that question is, but we'll come back. If you have any questions, or if you're watching the recording and you have any questions, tag us in the comments. We'll come back in and we'll answer all of your questions. Was this helpful? Just type helpful. For those of you who are still on with me, did you find today's session helpful? Type helpful just to let me know if it was helpful for you. I mean, I love being with you guys today, and every time I do these Q&A calls, so great to be with the community. Sorry for the hiccup in the beginning with the internet issue, but I would broadcast from my car if I had to. So don't worry, we're always going to show up for you however we can. Sometimes it looks better than others, but yeah, helpful. Everybody's saying helpful. Kelly, thank you so much for being here. Terrific. Again, watching the video recording, please type in comments any support that you need. We're here for you. I will see you again in 2 weeks, hopefully broadcasting from my teaching kitchen at that time. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, you can ask them in the Facebook group. You can DM me on Instagram. You can make content suggestions in the library, and we'll just make sure that we can support you as much as we can. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Take care. Bye.